India stands at a pivotal juncture in its journey as a rising global power. Its story is one of ambition, opportunity, and substantial challenges, both at home and abroad. At the heart of this narrative lies a crucial question. Does India need a change in leadership to achieve greater international acceptance and win the trust of its neighbors? The answer is nuanced, requiring a deep dive into the diplomatic landscape, the style and substance of current foreign policy, the potential benefits of new leadership, and the realities of continuity and stability in statecraft. To understand the context, it's essential to first examine the current diplomatic landscape. India's relations with its neighbors have, in recent years, been marked by a mix of collaboration and tension. The most visible of these is the ongoing strain with Pakistan and China. Historical border disputes, such as those over Kashmir and the line of actual control, have periodically escalated into standoffs and skirmishes. Security concerns, terrorism, and competing geopolitical interests further complicate these relationships. Beyond these high-profile rivalries, India has also faced challenges in its ties with other neighbors, including Nepal, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. Despite long-standing cultural and economic connections, trust deficits have sometimes emerged. Critics point to the current government's strong nationalist posture and assertive diplomacy, suggesting that these approaches have, at times, exacerbated distrust and led to perceptions of India as an overbearing regional power. For instance, differences over border demarcations with Nepal, concerns about water sharing with Bangladesh, and political maneuvering in Sri Lanka have each created friction. This brings us to the leadership style and foreign policy approach of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government. Since coming to power in 2014, the Modi administration has championed a unique blend of hard and soft power. On one hand, India has demonstrated military assertiveness, invested in defense modernization, and adopted robust rhetoric on issues of sovereignty and security. On the other, it has sought to enhance its global image through soft power initiatives such as international yoga diplomacy, high-profile summits, and outreach to the diaspora. Globally, India's stature has grown. It is seen as a potential counterweight to China, a key player in the Indo-Pacific, and an influential voice in the global South. Yet, the same assertiveness that has bolstered India's international presence has sometimes raised concerns among its neighbors. Some analysts argue that India's nationalistic tone and the prioritization of sovereignty over dialogue have made smaller neighbors wary. They fear economic and political domination rather than partnership. This leads to the question, what might a change in leadership offer? The prospect of new leadership in India, especially one with a different diplomatic philosophy, holds the potential to recalibrate relationships both regionally and globally. A new leader might bring a more conciliatory and inclusive tone to foreign policy, prioritizing dialogue and mutual respect over unilateralism. This could help rebuild trust and mend frayed ties, particularly within South Asia. A softer, more multilateral approach could see India re-engage with organizations like the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, SAARC, which has languished amid regional tensions. Renewed commitment to such forums might foster greater economic integration and regional cooperation. Similarly, strengthening ties with the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, BIMSTEC, could reinforce India's leadership as a bridge between South and Southeast Asia. Beyond regional engagement, a leadership change could also improve India's image in the eyes of the international community. Liberal democracies and international media often associate new leadership with the possibility of policy shifts toward greater inclusivity, respect for human rights, and adherence to global norms. Such changes, even if incremental, can have a disproportionate impact on perception. However, it is important to recognize that leadership change is not a panacea. Foreign policy is ultimately shaped by a complex interplay of national interests, institutional frameworks, and external dynamics. India's Ministry of External Affairs, security agencies, and economic policymakers play critical roles in decision-making, often providing continuity regardless of who occupies the highest office. Moreover, the record of the current leadership is not without achievements. Under Prime Minister Modi, India has gained significant global recognition. Its presidency of the G20 positioned it as a leading voice on global economic issues. Engagement with the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, Quad, alongside the United States, Japan, and Australia, has enhanced its strategic profile in the Indo-Pacific. Outreach to Africa and the Middle East has diversified India's partnerships, while vaccine diplomacy, during the COVID-19 pandemic, showcased its capacity for global leadership. These accomplishments have, in the eyes of many, contributed to an increase in international trust and acceptance. For some, continuity and stability in leadership are seen as assets, providing predictability and enabling long-term strategic planning. So, where does the balance lie? The answer likely falls somewhere in the middle. A leadership change can offer an opportunity for a fresh start, signaling a willingness to reassess approaches, listen to concerns, and engage more constructively with neighbors and global partners. It can help reset perceptions, especially if accompanied by substantive policy shifts. Yet, the true test of India's international acceptance and trustworthiness will depend not just on who leads, but on how the country chooses to conduct its foreign policy. A successful strategy would combine the best elements of past and present approaches. A strong commitment to defending national interests, balanced by openness to dialogue, respect for neighbors' sovereignty, and a focus on shared prosperity. Recalibrating foreign policy, therefore, becomes essential. India must continue to articulate its vision as a responsible regional power, one that seeks not just to project power, but to foster partnerships. This means moving away from zero-sum thinking and embracing win-win solutions, whether in trade, security, or environmental cooperation. A recommitment to multilateralism can help. Active participation in regional and global institutions can amplify India's voice, while also providing mechanisms to resolve disputes peacefully. This approach requires patience, flexibility, and a willingness to compromise, qualities that can be reinforced by a leadership style that values consultation over confrontation. Respectful regional diplomacy is another cornerstone. India's neighbors are diverse, each with their own aspirations, sensitivities, and historical experiences. Building trust requires empathy, an understanding that true leadership involves listening as much as leading. By demonstrating respect for the agency and interests of its neighbors, India can emerge as a partner of choice rather than a source of apprehension. Finally, an emphasis on economic partnerships over power projection can yield lasting dividends. South Asia remains one of the least economically integrated regions in the world. By prioritizing trade, connectivity, and development cooperation, India can help unlock shared growth and prosperity. Such initiatives have the potential to transform relationships, building trust through tangible benefits rather than rhetoric alone. In summary, while a change in leadership could open new diplomatic possibilities and help refresh India's image, it is not a guaranteed solution to long-standing challenges. Real progress will require a comprehensive recalibration of foreign policy, rooted in multilateralism, regional respect, and economic collaboration. Only by marrying vision with pragmatism can India achieve the international acceptance and trust it seeks, securing its place as a leading power in the 21st century.